Welcome, folks, one and all, to Let's Play The Sims, released in 2000 for the PC. The Sims was developed by Maxis and published by Electronic Arts and is a strategic life simulation game. And what a game The Sims is. I remember seeing this game for the first time when it first came out, and I was blown away by what you could do. For indeed you could do, or at least I thought you could do, pretty much anything. You take on the role of a selection of Sims that live in an area close by to Sim City, and you can do practically anything, within the limits of the game, of course. You can have the Sims get jobs, you can have them fall in love, fall out of love, have fights, you can have them swim, learn instruments, learn skills, and with the many expansions, you can have them do quite a bit more. Because this is not just The Sims, this is The Sims with the Living Large, the House Party, Hot Date, On Holiday, Unleashed, Superstar, and Making Magic expansions. All 7 expansions that came with the game, installed all in one big package, which is usually called The Sims Complete Edition. It's not The Sims Complete Edition for me, because I got all the expansions individually as they came out, but I'm getting sidetracked here from The Sims. I remember playing the original version without any of the expansions, and all you got in the game was this small area here, with this selection of plots and houses with 2 families that are already in, and 3 families that you can pick from that are already made. The Pleasant family, the Roomies family, and the Bachelor family. But how does one go about actually playing The Sims? Well, there is a way to learn, and that is with the tutorial that's right here. And without further ado, let's go and see just how The Sims plays, shall we? Here we go! Oh, this is bringing back memories already. Welcome to The Sims tutorial. Press OK to continue. You'll notice that the game has a very distinct style. The Sims themselves are 3D, but practically everything else is 2D. Alright, here is an overview of our tutorial house. Press the zoom in button in the control panel below to get a closer look. You can press the escape key at any time to cancel this tutorial. Also, let's pause the game here, because otherwise things are going to happen, and Bob's probably going to run off and watch television or something. Also, there's no chair to watch the television with. That's really not good, because that chair is facing in that direction. Let's zoom in, shall we? There we go. Oh, and something just skipped. I think it was moving the mouse there. There are several ways to scroll the screen. Try moving the cursor to different edges of the screen. Like, for instance, that. It is not the fastest method of scrolling. And I don't know if it wants us to do it with every single one, but we are most certainly moving the screen, game. Is that enough? It is indeed. Good. Another way to scroll is with the right mouse button. Click and hold the right mouse button, then slowly move the mouse around. Notice how you can control the speed and direction of the scrolling. One thing to note is that this house is the first house I ever had Sims of my own in. I actually moved Bob Newbie out of his house and changed things around and had this as the house that I had my first Sim ever live in. I think Bob didn't appreciate it, mind you. And I think that hopefully will be enough for the tutorial. There we go. Now let's rotate the view by pressing the rotate button indicated below. This one in particular. Not this one, but this one. You'll also notice there are other buttons here. We're going to be pressing them later. There are only 4 angles. There is that angle, the angle we were at before, this one, and this one. Now that you know how to control the view, it's time to go into live mode. Press the live icon below, which is also F1. Buy mode is F2, and build mode is F3. Camera mode is F4, and the options mode is F5. There we go. Live turns on the simulation. This is where you can control the Sims, or just sit back and watch what they do. One of the things that was amazing when I played The Sims originally is that you could just leave the Sims to do what they liked, and dependent upon their personality and what their needs were, they would just go and do whatever they chose to do. You can turn that off in the options. There is a free will button, and if you deselect that, they'll just stand there blankly and wait for you to tell them what to do, like puppets waiting for their puppet master to tug on their strings. But I always like to give them that option of doing what they like, although generally I tended to dictate what they were doing more often than not. This is the only mode in which time passes in the game. All other modes, buy, build, camera and options, will pause the game. And you can also pause the game by pressing the pause icon or the spacebar. Family members appear in the control panel below. This family currently has just one person, Bob Newby. Click on Bob's head in the control panel to center him on screen. Hello Bob, how are you? Now you're going to learn how to control Bob. Move the cursor to an empty spot and left click, I think. Make sure you have the foot cursor before you click. When the pop-up menu appears, you need to roll over the words "Go here." They will highlight before you select this command. And Bob's head will appear right there. There is only one option right now. Sometimes, especially in dialogue, you will have a lot of options. And so without further ado, go there, Bob! Do as I command. There is a lot of a sort of like in The Sims, where you are the force that is hovering over above controlling a city. You're basically controlling the lives of these Sims. And there he goes. Good. Now watch as Bob walks to that location. We were about to tutorial before you interrupted. There we go. Also, music from the radio. The Sims can be commanded to interact with most objects in the game. Move the cursor over several objects. Objects that light up have interactions. At this time, click on one of these and give Bob a command. Well, obviously we want to switch to classical music here, because Bob is a connoisseur of classical music. The needs below on the right show different things that add up to determine Bob's mood. Bob's mood is here. When it is in the green, it is good. When it is in the red, it is bad. Having it up to 5 in the green is excellent. Having it down to 5 in the red is awful. Let's increase Bob's hygiene a bit, because the game has forcibly lowered the hygiene stat there. Find the shower in this house and then command Bob to take a shower. And there is some classical music to take a shower with. And now Bob will have a shower. And by having a shower, the pixelation there to protect Bob's modesty, the hygiene will go up. Indeed, green arrows indicate that something is improving, and red indicates that something is going down. Room is a stat that is entirely determined by what is in the room that you're in that will improve the room stat. For instance, having nice decorative items will improve the room stat and will generally make you feel better. And now Bob is clean. Click on the different need indicator bars. Each one will explain itself and show you example objects to satisfy that need. Objects satisfy these needs with different efficiencies. Indeed, this television here, a small black and white one, is pretty terrible at improving the fun stat. In fact, most of the things here in Bob's house are pretty terrible at it. This bookshelf is one of the cheapest ones you can get, and only gives you 1 fun when you read it. Hunger here is quite a self-explanatory one. A refrigerator is the first stop for hungry Sims. The kitchen appliances you buy them affect the quality of the food they prepare. You could also call for pizza if they don't feel like cooking. We're going to be learning quite a bit about the pizza delivery. Comfort. The Sims need to be comfortable. If there isn't a comfy chair or couch to sit on or relax, a hot bath to relax in, this need can get mighty low. Comfort also goes up when you rest, unless you're in a absolutely terrible bed. Hygiene. A shower or bath is always good for a dirty Sim. Hand washing after messy activities also helps keep hygiene high. That is why having a sink is always a good idea. Bladder. When a Sim's gotta go, a Sim's gotta go. And there's really only one way to go. Get them to a toilet with all due speed. There is another way for them to go, and that unfortunately is them wetting themselves. It will completely replenish the bladder bar, but has the, well, there are 2 major drawbacks. One, it will leave a giant puddle on the floor and the Sim's hygiene will plummet down to 0, and the other is, it's rather embarrassing for the Sim. Now we go to fun. Fun is different for everyone. Serious Sims may be more interested in reading a book, while playful Sims are more likely to enjoy some time at the pinball machine. There are many, many ways to improve fun, but fun is not one of the stats that really hinges on a lot of things. There are two stats. The overarching stat of energy is the most important. There's nothing like a good night's sleep to restore a sagging energy bar. For a short-term fix, try a nap on the couch or a hot cup of coffee. The coffee also has the downside of reducing your bladder significantly. And finally, social. Sims are social creatures and they crave social interactions. They can fulfill their social need by interacting with family, friends, and neighbours, and also, I think, pets from the Sims Unleashed. The phone is great for inviting people over. Even more so than energy, social is a very important need. You need to keep that social bar rather high, and people with a high amount of outgoing need more social activity than those without. If you can keep most of these needs in the green, your character will be happy. You will usually want to be fulfilling your Sim's most critical needs. Now let's explore buy mode. Click the buy button below. You'll notice this game has very little sound. But that is, well, rather than music that is, there is only the sounds that come in from when things are actually being done, like footsteps or turning on the telly or the radio. But there is music in the buy mode. Good. Now you're in buy mode. Time has now stopped for Bob. He is forever trapped in a prison of time stillness. This is where you will come to spend Bob's hard-earned money on terrible things that probably won't help him if you're not careful. Icons on the left side of the buy panel represent different categories, and the colour pictures on the right are specific objects in that category. Fair enough. Makes sense? Look through the buy catalogue and choose a chair that Bob might like. There is seating, surfaces, decorative, electronics, appliances, plumbing, lighting, and miscellaneous. And if you click it again, the buy button that is, there is living room, dining room, bedroom, study, kitchen, bathroom, outside, and miscellaneous. I tend to like using this one here. Let's find a chair that Bob might like. This is the chair that the game has given him at the dining table, and you'll notice that practically every item here, except for a few from some expansions, have a description. A pretty funny description usually. Here is the Workbunst all-purpose chair for 80 simoleons. Chairs are a great invention. They let you sit down while eating, making typing possible when using the computer, and are great for sitting on while watching TV. This minimal, serious, I cannot actually... What is that word? Cantilevered, I think, design provides seriously minimal comfort. Yeah, there is not much comfort there. Comfort too. We want a far more comfy chair. In fact, I think we want a lounge chair. There are a selection of them. There are also sofas here. There's also miscellaneous, which has chairs that actually combine as beds and chairs. I think we'll have this chair right here. To buy this object, first move it to a clear spot and click to place it. I think we'll put it right here, right in front of the television. You can also rotate it by holding down the left mouse button and letting it move with the mouse. We want to put it here. The money is gone. And now the game is telling us about rotating it. There we go. Remember, you can always come back to buy mode to purchase new objects or rearrange existing ones in the house. The rearrange one is important. You definitely want to be able to rearrange things. Now let's go back to live mode. Look at your new chair! If you don't give commands to your Sims, they will decide what to do on their own. And that is one of the things, as I said before, that is brilliant about the Sims. Their behaviour is based on their current needs and their personality. Let's look at Bob's personality now. Click on the personality button below. His personality is pretty average around the board. Click on the personality traits to view pop-ups describing Bob's personality. He's an occasional cleaner. When it comes to cleaning up, I have a few basic rules. I flush when I'm done, throw away my own junk, and take out the trash now and then. Member of the crowd. I'm a little reserved and it takes me a while to warm up to new people. You won't see me in the middle of huge crowds at parties, but I won't be sitting quietly in a corner either. Fair enough. Laid back. Though not always on the go, I am somewhat motivated, though I tend to linger a bit too long on a nice cozy chair. We just bought you a nice cozy chair, speaking of which. I won't be caught sitting there all day either. And it's gone to the next bit of the tutorial, but we're going to continue looking at these. Amused. I laugh at good jokes, dance if there are other people on the floor, and I like to play games. Generally, I like having fun, but I don't go overboard. And nice. While some Sims can get on my nerves a little, overall I'm pretty good-natured. And now this family of one has become a family of two. Now we're going to add another person to this family. Her name is Betty. Click on her picture in the control panel below to select her. Click on her again to set up a screen on her. Hello, Betty. Your traits are very similar to Bob's here. Very similar indeed. Good. Notice that the indicator that was over Bob's head is now over Betty. Indeed it is. Also, the colour of that determines how things are going. This shows that she is now a selected character. If it's green, it's good, and if it goes over to like a darker shades of red, it's not so good. All of the personal details below will now show Betty's values. Makes sense. Click on an object and make Betty do something. Notice how her head now appears on the pop-up menu. We shall have her sit on the couch that we bought for Bob. Off you go. Listen to that classical music. There are several ways to change the active character. Another way is with the mouse. Move the cursor over Bob and right-click to select him. Now Bob is in control. That's right, now Bob is selected. Another way to select characters is by pressing the spacebar. Press the spacebar now and you'll go back to Betty. Oh, actually, is it, no, it's P rather than spacebar. My mistake! When I said before that spacebar pause, oh, I've accidentally made things much faster. That is the ultra speed. There is high speed and normal speed. But pause is P and not spacebar. You should ignore past me. He had no idea what he was talking about. Good. Sims interact with each other the same way they interact with objects. Now while Betty is selected, you can left-click on Bob and make her interact with him. Try that now. There are a lot of things. In the original version of The Sims, there really was only there was only dance and then entertain and then hug and then talk. Now with the other expansions, there are a lot more options. We're going to talk about interests here. How many interests do Bob and Betty share? I don't remember, but we're going to find out. Engage in a conversation in the toilet. The prime place for a conversation if ever there was one. And there is Simlish, and they don't like planes. That conversation is now over. You can see how the Sims felt about the interaction by watching the relationship icon above their heads. A plus sign means the relationship improved, which it did a little, and negative means that it deteriorated. Try another interaction and observe the results. I think you should tell a joke with a puppet. The finest form of entertainment. He does not seem interested. Oh dear. This is not going well. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it just took a while to warm up. You can see how the selected character feels about this person by clicking on the relationship button below. Ah, they are friends. Clicking on the image of the person in the relationship panel brings up a pop-up that describes the state of the relationship. They are indeed friends. When your Sims meet new people in the neighbourhood, they will then appear on this relationship panel. You can invite them over to visit if both families have a telephone. There are two things here. There are actually two bars that are important. There is a long-term relationship and a short-term relationship. One of them raises and falls a lot faster than the other, and so you could have an argument with people in the short term, but it may only slightly impact the relationship in the long term. This is good, because previously in the original game, keeping friendships going was really difficult, because the relationship would constantly plummet really quickly. Trying to get a lot of relationships going at once to get the higher jobs was very, very challenging. Also, I completely forgot to do one particular thing, which was to show off some of these other icons, but we'll be showing them off in a moment. Look outside near the mailbox for the paper, because we're going to find a job. Once you find it, click on it and command one of your Sims to bring it inside. After they bring it in, have them use it to look for a job. Well, guess what? We're not going to bring it inside, we're just going to find a job there and then. Because really there's no reason to take the newspaper in. You get a newspaper every day, I think at around about 9 o'clock in the morning. Go and find a job. The greatest job, or whatever job is in there. Turns out the job that's in there is the only job offer in the paper today is in the hacker career track for a beta tester. Well, you know what, Betty? That is perfect for you. You take the job. A car will be sent at 8 AM every single day. It was later games that added days off for Sims. In The Sims 1, the job is forever. Every day without fail. You can skip days, but if you do that too much, you will get fired. And now Betty has a job. Congratulations! Now click on the job button below and you'll find out more about this new job. You can actually click it here and find out. Put the next version of the software through its paces and break it as often as possible. The company is depending on you to make sure this code arrives on the store shelves in the cleanest possible condition, provided you don't rack up too many late night pizza bills. The hours are 9 till 5 and the car arrives at 8 o'clock. This panel shows details about the selected character's job, as well as the skill ratings for the sim, which are important for career promotions. Click on the job name to find out when the carpool will arrive. We've already done that. Also, you'll see these bars here for the various skills that we have. Let's highlight them for a moment. Ah yes, skills on the right, cooking mechanical, will be underlined if they need improvement for a promotion. None are needed yet. Click on a few of them now for hints on how to acquire them. I don't think there's a single job that actually needs skills to get promoted from the first level. You only really need to go to work in a good mood. The average there dictates, by the way, how your performance is going, which pretty much always depends on your mood, and that is your daily salary. Yes, a daily salary. The cooking skill can be improved by reading primarily. I think reading is the only way to do it in the base game. I think there might be a few other ways that have been added, but there are so many items and random things added in the various expansions. Then there is mechanical. Again, that pretty much is reading, but there is one other way to... there is actually a way to improve cooking that's not reading, and that is making preserves. The mechanical can be improved by making garden gnomes, and I think also in one of the later ones by making gargoyles, but many people will remember garden gnomes as being a very lucrative career in itself. Charisma primarily comes from basically using mirrors and other charisma-based items. The mirror that's in the fridge there, in the fridge? No, the mirror is in the bathroom. Hey, let's go into the fridge and see if you can find that mirror over there. No, there is no mirror in the fridge. I mean, I wouldn't want to try and cook a mirror. There is also body, which gets improved by doing strenuous things like weightlifting and other things. It also gives hints as to what careers would best suit particular skills, like body is good for pro athlete and military. This has not been updated for the other careers that have been added. Logic is improved with chess, and I think it's also improved with stargazing as well through a telescope and a few other things. And finally, creativity. That can be improved by playing the piano, the guitar, by making paintings. You can actually sell the paintings when they're made, which is quite good. But those are all of the stats. Most of the time they go up, and very rarely they can go down. Random events can happen with the jobs, and sometimes with a few other things that can make things rather bad. The option mode is where you save, quit, or return to the neighborhood screen. This is also where you can set graphics, sound, and play options. Click the options button now. This concludes the tutorial. From here you can save the game and return to the neighborhood, or you might want to return to live mode and play with this family some more. Once you're back at the neighborhood screen, you might want to try creating a new family. At some point they'll probably meet Bob and Betty Newbie. I wonder how they'll get along. Probably very well indeed. But this indeed was the tutorial for The Sims. It is quite a good tutorial, and also they have a fountain with flamingos. I always forget that they have a fountain with flamingos and the sad clown painting. There is something particular about that sad clown painting. But that is the tutorial, and when we come back, folks, we shall be leaving Bob and Betty Newbie and moving on to making our own family. Or our own families, maybe. For I have a cunning plan, and it is so cunning that it will blow all these achievements with this comfy chair out of the water. For we have only begun to scratch the surface of The Sims. There is so much depth to The Sims that I really don't know all of it. I never even really played the final expansion, Making Magic, that much, and I only played Superstar a little bit, but there are a few things that I most certainly want to do. And that is why I picked The Sims, because there is just so much you can do. But do you want to do all those things? Well, that's The Sims for you. You can pick whatever you want to do and do it. And next time, folks, we're going to find out just what we're going to do. And Bob looks really unimpressed with that, I think he's unimpressed with the lamp there. It's like, why is that lamp on? It's not that dark in here at all. It is a little dark in here, Bob. You might want to get just a few more lights in here. There's also a light in the toilet, but not one in... Oh, there is one there. A very small one. Very small indeed. So I'll catch you next time, folks. And I'll see you then. Later.